Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 418. Hey, what's up, everybody? So, we have some news coming out of the Virgin Islands, and it's pretty significant. Now, since the beginning of this whole entire ordeal, I've been yelling and screaming and whinging and pining about Indyke and Kahn having to answer some questions and being called what they are, co-conspirators and part of this criminal enterprise. Well, now, Denise George, the Attorney General of the United States Virgin Islands, is absolutely unchained. Not only has she added them to the SICO suit that is going on down there, the civil RICO suit, but she has also named them as captains of sex trafficking. This is a huge development, and this is some explosive language and rhetoric. And in my opinion, this is foreshadowing for what we're going to see in the SDNY if and when this becomes full-blown RICO. But all signs certainly point that way, don't they? Especially when you see Denise George down in the Virgin Islands come out swinging like this. And I don't mean throwing a couple of jabs here, folks. She's throwing bombs looking to end this fight ASAP. And we know that there has been a lot of back and forth lately about the estate and why the estate is bleeding money and how it could even be possible that the estate can't compensate these girls through the fund. So on the heels of all of that, she now announces that they are part of the racketeering suit. So from where I'm sitting, that has to be some sort of conflict of interest for Indyke and Kahn, and the court has to step in now and remove them, right? They should be preparing for their own legal battles. Instead of worrying about the estate, they should have to worry about their own legal battles at this point. And furthermore, they should have to pay their own legal fees. And if you really want to stick it to them, freeze all of their personal bank accounts. And then let them try and defend themselves. Then let them try and access all of those ill-gotten gains they've been storing away for a rainy day. Because if this was a regular criminal enterprise, like one that one of us were involved in, or your cousin Joe, or your friend Steve, that's what would happen. Everybody's accounts would have been frozen already. The government would have been looking to seize every last dollar. And that's just how it works for the rest of us. So, enough with this two-tier justice system. Let's see these people be treated the same exact way that any one of us would be treated as well. And I think Denise George has taken more than the first step here. I think this is big-time foreshadowing here. And I think coming down the pipe, Indyke and Kahn, well, they're going to look back at this as basically the real beginning for their troubles getting started. So, hopefully, in the coming weeks, the coming months, we see the actual case expanded and more indictments unsealed so that we can get a better idea of the overall RICO case that the government is obviously building. All right, so let's jump into our article from Bloomberg.com and let's see what's going on down in the Virgin Islands. Headline: Epstein executors added to Virgin Islands racketeering suit. Authors of this article are Patricia Hurtado and Anders Mellon. The two executors of Jeffrey Epstein's estate were added as defendants to a civil racketeering lawsuit brought by the U.S. Virgin Islands, which claims they acted as captains of the late financier pedophiles' alleged scheme to traffic in girls. So let me put that to you in normal people's terms, okay? Jeffrey Epstein was running a criminal enterprise. Indyke and Kahn were acting as captains, lieutenants, whatever it is you want to call them, but they were facilitating the financial aspects of this crime, making sure that things were hidden, making sure hush money was paid, making sure 97 trips to the ATM to pull out $7,500 each time happened. And Denise George is finally just calling a turd for what it is, a turd. No more beating around the bush, okay? She has put them on display here, shined the spotlight directly on them, and it's about time somebody has come out and called these dudes for what they are, part of the criminal enterprise. Executors. Give me a break already. Virgin Islands attorney Denise George said her office had newly obtained evidence showing that Darren Indyke and Richard Kahn had direct participation in almost all of Epstein's business operations and financial activities, including the alleged sex trafficking network, and that they facilitated forced marriages among his survivors to ensure their immigration status. Now, folks, how long have I been telling you that Indyke and Kahn had direct participation in almost all of Epstein's business operations and financial activities? That is exactly what in-house lawyers and in-house accountants do. It wasn't a huge mystery here, okay? And it wasn't like these guys were only coming in during tax time. These guys were here to add another layer of protection to Jeffrey Epstein. And it was all for an extra few bucks. And now, when these sorts of money laundering operations are kicked into gear, when money's being diverted, if you don't think Kahn and Indyke were getting a few points off of it, you're mistaken. That is how this works. Everybody's wetting their beak. Everybody has culpability. And Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have another layer of protection between them and the authorities. That is why RICO is so crucial. If RICO is not employed, then you have to try each of these people one at a time. And it's just not feasible when you're dealing with an obvious criminal enterprise. And it's nice to see that Denise George also agrees, because I'll tell you, folks, besides the no murder and they weren't running drugs, this was as well-oiled of a racketeering outfit as anything the mafia has ever put forward. We're talking decades. These dudes flew under the radar with the participation of friends on high. The mafia wishes they could have an operation like this that ran as smoothly as this, for as long as this. And Darren Indyke, he's, like I've said from the jump, he's basically the in-house, he's the Tom Hagen of the operation. This guy's the lawyer. Nothing passes by him. What, you think it was Jeffrey Epstein calling Dershowitz directly? Oh, I'm sure that happened at sometimes, but I guarantee you, Darren Indyke played a huge part in all of that. That was Jeffrey's confidant, his ride-or-die lawyer, his Tom Hagen. Indyke and Kahn didn't immediately respond to requests for comment, nor did a lawyer representing them in civil litigation brought by George in the Virgin Islands. They better lawyer up with more than one lawyer. They better get 3 or 4, maybe 5. And the estate better damn well not be paying for their lawyers. How much money has been needlessly wasted as is? I mean, do we really need to have people spending money on food and trimming the bushes and all this other garbage that is siphoning money away on a daily basis? And even deeper than that, because those are only pennies on the dollar when you think about the millions and millions of dollars that have disappeared. Where did it all go? Who's in charge of that money? Well, Indyke and Kahn are. So, it makes you wonder, and it makes you think that Indyke and Kahn probably shouldn't be involved as executors of the estate, considering that they are squarely in the target of not only Denise George, but of authorities involved in this case all over. The filing comes as George and the estate are locked in a battle over money for a victim's compensation fund. Restitution for women. George filed suit against the estate last year, alleging violation of the territory's Criminally Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act and seeking civil penalties, damages, forfeiture of Epstein's private islands in the territory, and a restitution for local women who accused him of abuse. The suit has effectively frozen the estate's assets. Well, guess what? If the estate's assets are frozen, then Indyke and Kahn can't siphon them off, can they? They can't be spending money on, I guess, late-night runs to Taco Bell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. What else are they spending this money on? Where's it going? But with the accounts being frozen and the assets being seized, that's what should happen. The government should seize all of this money, and instead of keeping it like the scumbag government likes to do, it should be distributed to the survivors in a manner seen fit by their lawyers, the court, and the people running this compensation fund. Every single person who applies and is accepted to this fund should be paid out to an amount that is acceptable to them and their lawyers and to the courts. And then, if anything is left over after that, then we can talk about it being used as restitution to go to the state. But short of that, I don't want to hear about any of these government entities, Denise George, the federal government who's already taken $200 million. I don't want to hear about any of these people sitting at the trough and getting fat. It's about time that everybody else takes a back seat for a little while, and these survivors get to be made whole. They get compensated, and they're able to move on with their lives for once. Epstein, who owned 2 private islands in the U.S. Virgin Islands, was arrested and charged by federal prosecutors in Manhattan in July 2019, accused of sex trafficking of girls. He was found dead in his federal jail cell a month later while awaiting trial in what authorities ruled a suicide. Well, I'll say allegedly still. Again, until we have the evidence that proves that this guy committed suicide, then I'm not convinced that there's enough there for me to jump on the bandwagon and believe the official narrative being pumped to us by some of the most shady, disgusting BS artists out there. We're really going to believe Bill Barr. That's what we're going to do, huh? We're at a point where we think Bill Darth Barr is somebody that is trustworthy and worth listening to. Well, I'm certainly not there, and I never will be at a point like that. There is zero chance I trust Bill Barr with anything. Zero chance. The suit also cites Epstein's Southern Trust Company, a consulting firm of which he was the sole owner. According to the complaint, the main source of funds for Epstein's alleged trafficking scheme was Southern Trust, which claimed to be focused on biomedical and financial informatics. Indyke and Kahn allegedly controlled the day-to-day activities of the Southern Trust. And I'll tell you who else is in imminent danger with the Southern Trust being named so often here. Leon Black. All that money that was moved through the Southern Trust, folks. A money laundering operation. A hotspot for illegally gotten gains. And Denise George has stated so much in court filings. Now, how could the SDNY or anybody else looking into this case ignore that? This is a significant development in my opinion. And Allison Moe and the rest of the group prosecuting the case at the SDNY most certainly is paying attention. Because guess what? At the end of the day, these are all the same players on the same large, vast stage. and they are all connected. I don't think there's any doubt about how connected all of these people are to each other, either loosely or intimately. But the fact remains, they are all connected. And when you start pulling on the threads, one thread leads to the other, and before you know it, you're at Leon Black, who paid Jeffrey Epstein $158 million. The question remains, why? Why would Leon Black pay Jeffrey Epstein $158 million through the Southern Trust Company? Why would he send it through an LLC, a shell company? What are they hiding? What are they scared of the public finding out? Or what are they scared of the authorities catching on to? Now that's where we're at. We have all the circumstantial evidence that has led us here, right? Now we're on the treasure map. We're getting close, but we haven't found the X that marks the spot yet. And it's going to be crucial to find out what that money really was for. And I think that Indyke and Kahn, two guys that were deeply involved with all of the financials, who have their signatures just about on every document that has to do with money and Jeffrey Epstein. Well, if you want to squeeze people in hopes that they pop and give other people up, I think this is a fantastic place to start, folks. This is like swooping up a capo in the mafia, a street leader, a street lieutenant. And now you're saying, look, we're going to pin this whole entire thing on you, my dude. You're going to jail for 555,000 years. How about that? Unless you tell us what was going on over here with these transactions. We want to know. We want to know where the receipts are. We know you have a flash drive somewhere. We know you have evidence of this. We know that you had a kill switch in case you ever got in trouble. Where is it? We want it. Do you want to go to prison the rest of your life? You ever want to see your baby grow up? You want to see your wife? If you do, you better start talking. And this is the perfect opportunity for that to be run on both of these clowns, because guess what? They've both been pantsed, and now they're standing there exposed to the elements. Bank records show that virtually all of Southern Trust Company's income came from a single source. This is crucial, folks. According to the suit, in all that source, which the complaint doesn't identify, paid $158 million to Southern Trust from 2013 to 2017, or 85% of its revenue in that time, the complaint says. Now look, I'm no genius, right? And I'm not Inspector Gadget, okay? But it sure looks like this is the time frame and the money that Leon bitch-ass Black was dumping into Jeffrey Epstein's operation for quote-unquote advice? Nobody believes that. Not the penguins, not the polar bears. Nobody believes it. And Denise George certainly doesn't believe it either. And things are getting hot for these guys now, folks. And it's about to be a situation where things really get heated up for them. With this new development, I mean, how long before there's an actual criminal case? How long before the unsealed indictments show up? And how long before the proper umbrella of RICO is opened up above all of these people's heads? If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at Bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All of the links for this episode can be found in the description box. All right, everybody, I will be back later on, and we will pick up where we left off.